Hello there, beautiful humans. It's Adria Firestone, speaker, author, coach. And oh my goodness, true words have never been written that perfection is the mountain that has no peak. Oh my goodness, this is Emma Norris, a wonderful coach. And all I can say to you is she has hit the nail on its proverbial head. Because perfection is indeed, I call it a killer of dreams. What happens is, and I learned something on one of my classes that I'm taking, that there are 5 stages when you're learning something new. The first is untrammeled, uninformed optimism. Everything is fabulous. I'm starting this. It's so wonderful. It's the best thing since sliced bread. Then the second stage is when you hit informed pessimism. You begin to realize, wait a minute, everything I thought that was going to be so easy. Of course, it's not easy. It requires work. It requires a learning curve. Finally, you hit stage 3, and that has been called the Valley of Despair. And the Valley of Despair, it's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely true. The Valley of Despair is where most of us, and oh boy, me included, I've done it many times, have given up and said, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. So you give up, you look up and say, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, and you sit in a dejected heap because all your dreams of perfection and all the excitement you felt is gone. Well, then the fourth stage, and this is if you can get yourself through from the Valley of Despair to a hopeful realism, just being realistic. So stage four is where you have cautious optimism. This is informed optimism. You know what you're talking about because you've stayed in it. You stayed in the boat and you haven't jumped out in despair and gone running through the jungle screaming, okay? So stage 5 then is completion, is when you actually do what you set out to do and you're loving what you did. But I think that one of the biggest killers of joy and killers of dreams is our need and our desire for perfection. That we become so desperate for perfection that we instead give up the joy, lose sight of what is at the end of the tunnel, and then once again, we go back. It's kind of like people with relationships. Again, I'm going to say, I'm there. I've done it. I've done it 100 times. You fall in love with the first 6 months. And don't you realize that the first 6 months of a relationship, not only are you falling in love with that person, but you're falling in love with yourself because that person is also enchanted with you. So you're seeing yourself through an enchanted lens. So when you realize, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was in a project or a human, then you leap or fall into the Valley of Despair. And perfectionism will keep you there. So from my book, You Are the Artist of Your Life, drop perfection. It's not your job. Now, I've shared this with you before. It is worth sharing again because right now I'm talking to myself. I'm beginning a new project that I'm very excited about. It also scares the wits out of me. So I think the informed realism is already there. Perfection is one of the greatest blocks to success. I call it now a killer of dreams. I know of. Why is the greatest block to success that I know of? Why not, instead of perfection, be in competition with yourself and strive for personal excellence? Now, personal excellence is definitely the way to go. There will always be people better than you are. There will always be those worse than you are. That is why the only authentic measure of your success or failure is your competition with yourself. Now, Isn't that exciting and in some ways a relief that the competition is with you and it's not with anyone else? So I want all of us to remember that whatever it is that we're doing, there is always someone who has more expertise in something that you're starting. Probably most of the people, especially when you have beginner's mind and you are a beginner in something. And no matter how educated, sophisticated, or ancient we are, we always are starting something new. And that's when especially you have to put down this onus of perfection. In any case, my grandmother was quite sure that she was perfect, but since my grandmother is no longer on this earth, I don't have the strength or the shoulders to bear that. And I hope that none of you do. I hope that you allow yourself to be an adorable kitten who's just learning about the world. Now and then go back to that, even if it's 1 minute a day. Go back to that feeling of, well, I've never seen the light hit that plant in that way. Be present. Have that beginner's mind for a moment and brush perfection off of your shoulders and remove it from your backpack, because, darling, it will kill dreams and it will put pressure on you that is so unrealistic. Because if perfection is a mountain that has no peak, it means no matter what you do, you can climb for the entire rest of your life and you will never reach a peak because there isn't one. Even someone who is competing in the Olympics, in that moment in time, they are the best in the world. That doesn't mean that in some corner of the world, in some tiny hut, there's a baby being born or a person who is already 20 who could beat that person 20 times. Nobody knows about them. And it only means that a record is meant to be broken. So if you do achieve perfect for a moment and you get a 10, darling, it's ephemeral, just like we are. Just like we are, we're here and then we're gone. So make the most of it and take this horrible demon of perfection off of your back. The release of trying to be perfect took such a huge weight off of my heart. Let me tell you, yes, when I actually become conscious that I'm being a perfectionist, then I calm down and then I take it off of my back. But it's sneaky. It comes in on little cat feet and it will catch you again and destroy your joy. It is such a destroyer of joy. I replaced striving for perfection with personal excellence. Excellence is one of my mantras, and it is. It really is. The excellence I strive for is to be better than I was 5 minutes ago. And actually, that's very doable, isn't it? I can do something now. 5 minutes from now, I'm going to have more knowledge. I'm going to have more experience. Someone will have given me a new fact, and voila, there we are. It's something new. I am no longer in that, oh, I didn't do it right. Okay? When you can truly say to yourself, I have done my best, you will feel enormous peace. It is impossible to do more than your best. Think about that. You can't do more than your best. Basta, punto. That's it. Do your best. Your best will vary from day to day and from week to week as you feel differently. No matter how you feel, do your best. You are releasing yourself to be all you can be. Let go of being perfect and adopt instead doing the very best you can every day with the energy and knowledge you have at this moment. That's the key, is at this moment, because the only place you can be is right here, right now. Remember, when you know more, you'll do better. Always do your best, and you will find new power and serenity. Well, have you done your best today? I'm learning all sorts of things every single day. I'm doing my best. Am I wonderful at this or that I've learned yet? No, I'm not. Not yet. I might get really good at it, but I'll certainly not be perfect. And what a relief that is. So it's Adria Firestone signing off and say, do your best. Brush perfection off your shoulders. You don't want to keep climbing that impossible mountain because there is no top to get to. All right? So it's Adria Firestone, speaker, author, coach, saying, I will see you later, alligator. And that is for sure.